Good morning, business owners, aspiring business owners, and of course, entrepreneurs, CEOs, everybody. Welcome to my first chapter of my weekly vlog called Chronicles of a Small Business Owner. For those that don't know me, my name is Bruce, and I work closely with business owners across the globe to either help them scale up, fix up, or start up their businesses. Folks, I get the privilege each week to work with CEOs and their teams where significant learnings occur from common challenges that they face, you certainly face each and every day running, growing, and building your business. This program will focus on the experiences and interactions I've had with business owners and the learnings from these experiences, and obviously bringing these learnings and thoughts to you and your business in the hopes that it is of assistance and support in growing your business. I've been stressing for years that multiple books, courses, expensive consultants have not improved the state of small business, and the massive failure rate continues to remain unchanged, sadly due to the same fatal mistakes where lessons have already been learned and, unfortunately for them, implemented. So why do we continue to see the failure? Well, because we have a one-dimensional focus on the non-human elements that make up the business. For example, the latest and greatest tool that will bring unprecedented growth to your business or fill your sales funnel with hundreds of thousands of fresh leads each and every week. The list goes on and on and on. It's not that the tools and systems, it's not that they don't work per se. There's fabulous tools out there, fabulous systems out there. It's the fact that if the user or author of these tools is not primed, in this case, the business owner or CEO is not primed to use them effectively, then all is lost. For each and every one of these experiences and for more detail, please, folks, join my private Facebook page. Love to have you there, called Profitable Business Owners, using the link below. Now, let's get on to this week. For this week, I want to talk to you about and share an interaction I had with a business owner running a small manufacturing facility. For several years now, the owner, and for the purposes of this video recording, we'll name her Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie has continuously put out fires in her business, reacting with short-term bursts of energy each time the alarm bell started ringing. As I'm sure you can imagine, and in some cases, folks that are listening to this right now, I'm sure you can identify that this is not only exhausting, and it exhausted her, Anne-Marie, but inadvertently affected her business's productivity and her team. Of course, on top of that, profitability was absolutely non-existent, and the latest impact of the COVID-19 pandemic didn't help much either. To make things worse, she had no means to pay herself, ending up in a desperate situation. Anne-Marie had recently, and this is probably about 2.5 months ago, reached a point of success where the scenario has started to shift for her drastically to a more positive one. Her team is more engaged. Her behavior reacting to fires, and remember why people react. People react out of the interpretation of what consequences a worst case scenario would be. And for a long time, her cash situation in her business has started to stabilize. Not because she's getting more cash in or generating more revenue, but her reaction and perceived reality has started to change. Yes, of course, we designed and implemented systems in her business and continue to do so. But nothing changed until Anne-Marie's behavior and her interpretation of her current reality started to change. I have to tell you, I never get bored. I've been doing this for a long time, where business owners initially reluctantly agree to a new tool system that's suggested for some strange reason. They don't commit and execute, and they don't obviously see the results in the business. There are many reasons they may include where the systems or tools don't work, but ultimately it's the reluctance emotionally to execute. And that's what holds them back. Once execution takes place, it never gets old. I'm mind blown to see what happens in the business, the ripple effect across every spectrum of the business. That's where success comes from. It's always very hard for many people, including myself in some cases, where people, especially us business owners, CEOs, to acknowledge that our behavior for the most part is what holds us back. putting ourselves and our businesses in a very, very bad situation. But once those business owners start to accept that they actually are human at the end of the day, and they're not necessarily failing, or failure is not necessarily the end of the world, they come to realize that things can move forward, that they are making major changes. And it's really the new reality. And the things that I get, or the comment I get specifically is, Bruce, I like my new reality. I have no idea how I got here, but I like it. One thing for Anna Marie that was absolutely mind-bending was seeing her company's cash and the cash flow in a different light. The conversation went something like this. So typically we know the old axiom. Sales minus expenses equals profit. Right? Profit in this case is at the end, expenses come first. Folks, an age-old unconscious bias or behavior that gets in our way is called the primacy effect, or primacy effect, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I indicated this, I expressed this and explained this to Anne Marie. What the bias does, without us even realizing it, is that our minds pay more attention to the first points of a list and less importance as we move further down the list. If we consider this bias and we look at this old axiom, as you can see it here, sales minus expenses equals profit, makes sense. The first in the formula are expenses. Profit merely ends up as a bonus at the end if we're lucky. It's like an afterthought. What happens if we flip this around, or this entire formula around, and actually leverage this natural behavior? Now check this out. Where sales minus profit equals expenses. Profit in this case is number one. What does this do? It starts to drive our natural bias, in this case that primacy effect, or that primacy behavior. You'll be absolutely amazed what happens next. When I say, and I said this to Anne Marie, that changing the way we think about this, including various other parts of the business, will absolutely, in this case, if I can say to you, absolutely guarantee that you'll make a profit and also pay yourself regularly and pay yourself well on a regular basis. Well, she looked at me like I was something out of space and said, Bruce, you can't guarantee anything. I said to her that, yes, I can when it comes to human behavior. Once we start to see our reality differently, our business starts to thrive. In Anne Marie's case, her business is getting traction. Not only traction, she's getting into a profitable situation, and very cool and very excited to say, she has investors interested in the potential she and her team can provide to the market. Folks, join us next week where we have further interactions, success stories that I'd love to share with you, lessons that we've learned, making businesses succeed and achieve profitably like they have never experienced before. Happy business building, folks, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.